Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
We're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. Tonight's topic, you're going to be surprised because it's a big one. Yeah, seriously, that was an intended pun because we're going to be talking about something really giant. In fact, to help me with this tonight, we have none other than Sister Kim. Salaam alaikum, sister. How are you? Hello, Sister Kim. Okay. Got nothing. Richard, how are you tonight? We got Richard with us. Salaam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Doing well. Doing good.
All right.
Giants. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, is that the
Yeah,
New York Giants?
That's going to be the topic tonight, Giants. And
Giants.
It looks like, I don't know, but Richard, I think you've got your slow internet connected up again because it gives me a photograph of you and then it changes about every 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll redo.
Yeah, all right. If you can hook up to something else, maybe a little bit better, that'd be wonderful. And now, okay, guys, the topic tonight is giant because it's about giants. First off, I would like to ask the rhetorical question because there's nobody here to ask it to anyway, but is there anything in the Quran about people from outer space? Is there anything in the Bible about people from outer space? Or is there anything anywhere to give conclusive proof that the faiths following Adam, Abraham, Moses, David, Suleiman, Jesus Christ, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and peace and blessings be upon all of these prophets, is there anything to indicate that there is other life out there? Are we alone in the universe? Or is there something else? And actually, I've been doing this research even before. As a matter of fact, since 1962, I've been very interested in what they call extraterrestrial. And another term for it is unidentified flying objects, UFO. And I was a part of the organization of sorts in Washington, D.C. in 1963, 62, 63. And that organization was called the Washington Saucer Intelligence. Yep. And I was very young, right? I was just out of college. But anyway, what we encountered was the major who was he was the pilot of the flight that went down in New Mexico, where they have all of this talk about Mexico. He's the one who started it. And I knew him. His name was Major Wayne Aho. And he really exhibited a lot of sincerity in what he said. Whether or not it's true, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide, because I never proved conclusively one way or the other. Either he's really, really, really on it, or he's really, really wacko. All right, that was the conclusion that I came up with. But there was never a doubt about his sincerity. He sincerely believed what he was saying. Well, what does Islam teach us? Are we really alone in the universe? And when I was hoping for Richard to rejoin us, but I don't know that he did. Let me see. Nope. And Sister Kim is not with us either. I was really hoping for that tonight. I don't know what happened. But you know what? I think I really need somebody to share this with. So if you would like to call in and join me right now, you can do so. It's very simple. We have an 800 number anywhere in Canada or the United States. You can pick up your phone and just give us a call. 1-800-971-4383. You got that? 1-800-971-4383. All right? By the way, this really doesn't work. Anyhow, so if you'll just call me right now, and you can be on the air with me, even if you don't have an answer, we can talk about this, and I think it will be a lot more interesting than me just sitting here reading stuff to you. Because what I wanted to talk about really is the subject of the biblical giants, first of all. Okay, this is what we have on the biblical giants, and this is by people that are Christian scientists, not the organization, but they're scientists.
Hello.
Yeah, there's Sister Kim, mashallah. Welcome.
Yeah, I was not scheduled to be on tonight, but I saw Richard was having trouble, so.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sister. This is Sister Kim with us right now. Sister, thank you so much for joining us. MashaAllah. And
what are we talking about tonight?
Well, what I think the best thing for us to talk about tonight is what was scheduled is the giants. And what we were saying, for those who just joined us, like Sister Kim, what we were asking a rhetorical question. Is there anything in the Bible or the Quran, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Last Testament, does there say anything at all about life on other planets, life that in another realm, life in another dimension? Is there really any scientific proof or religious proof, whatever, for the existence of other beings? Or are we, the human beings, the only really, well, okay, we'll set aside animals, birds, reptiles, and fish, okay? I know that they're there because I've caught all of those things. Even I've caught the flu from some of the tsetse flies or something. So besides the insects and birds and fish and animals and crocodiles, reptiles, etc., I'm asking, is there anything in the religious texts to indicate this, to prove it, or from science to prove anything? Or are there just conspiracy theories? And as I said in the earlier part of the program, that in 1962 and 63, I was a part of the organization called Washington Saucer Intelligence. And that was in Washington, D.C. And at the head of it, we found Major Wainaito. And he was the one who was piloting the plane that went down in the New Mexican desert. And it's with him that it started this whole thing, because he said he was abducted, taken up into a spacecraft, etc., etc. And for those of you who have heard the story over and over and over, well, yeah, that's the story. And that's where it all started. Then the people that were in Silver Spring, Maryland, that we knew, the Adamskis, they were the ones that had the pictures of a flying saucer out of their window. Now, I had been in their home one time and was shown what window it was. So when I saw
We have a phone call. We have a phone.
Well, we do have a phone call. All right, let's take the phone call. All right. Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum, brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Go ahead. What's your name?
Brother, I had asked the same question before.
Okay, but what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Wasim and I'm calling from Florida.
Wasim in Florida. All right. So we're starting the program up and we got plenty of time. So go ahead and ask your question any way you want to. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was listening to the question that you asked, and I had asked this question like a couple of years ago to too many people. And all of them told me that there is nothing mentioned about aliens in the Quran at all.
Well, let's examine this. The first and foremost thing, we'll look at the Bible and what does it tell us early on. In the book of Genesis, it says giants have been around since time began, and they first described in the Bible in the book of Genesis 6, 1 through 4. All right? Now, I happen to know that one really well because of another reason, because it uses the term sons of God. And it says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, took them and went in unto them, and from this union, it came forth these mighty sons of God, these sons of God. And that's what it is saying. Now, the translators put comments in there that this meant that they were really big people, and it said these mighty men of old, in the mighty, it meant that they could be either really big or they could be really mean or both. And that's the word that they were translating as mighty. And then as well in the book of Numbers 13:32 to 33, this Nephilim appear to be before and after the flood. The Emites and the Ammonites or Ankatites and the Rephaim, this is in Deuteronomy 2 and 10, existed after the flood, and they appear to be separate entities, although the writer often uses the phrase like, okay, suggesting this commentary here, and I'm just reading this for you, but let me see if I can make it so. There we go. I can see it better. Yeah, he said they were larger. The Rephaim were largely subdued by the Ammonites, which dwelt in their stead. One of the most prominent Rephaim was Og, king of Bashan, who slept in a bedstead of iron. 9 cubits was the length and 4 cubits was the breadth. Now, a cubit is the distance of almost a yard. about 30 inches. So when you say 9 times 30, you're talking about a lot of inches. So he was really big. And now that, it says 4 cubits wide. And that's Deuteronomy 3:11. It said he appears to be one of the last survivors of the Rephaim. A race of giants implies a hereditary element, and origins of some of the names may indicate the genetic pathway involved. The Hebrew word Anak may mean necklace, all right, and the genetic, let's see, Proverbs 1:9, or possibly goiter. This could suggest hyperthyroidism, possibly due to underlying pituitary gland or other endocrine dysfunction. So now I want to explain where I'm reading this from. This is actually a medical university that has produced this research. And what they're saying is basically that these people were very big, and it's very possible that there were human giants in the land along with Goliath, the Hittite. The most well-known giant in the Bible, because he's described as the champion of the Philistines, and his height was 6 cubits. Okay, so if you figure that
there's a story on the Quran.
yeah, well, wait a minute. We're just talking about the Bible right now, and I don't want to spoil it for everybody watching. We are going to come to that. We are definitely going to come to that. So what I wanted to feature, though, for our Christians and Jews who are watching us, those who hold on to the Old Testament and the New Testament. So from the book of Samuel and all the way up to Chronicles, we have drawn Goliath's pedigree from what we just heard. A literal interpretation of the verses suggests that his brother and 3 sons, those 3, in other words, Goliath had a brother and Goliath had 3 nephews, were also of this giant structure. The name of Goliath's 3rd son does not appear in the Bible. So we have named him Axadocleos, as it was said that he had on every hand 6 fingers and on every foot 6 toes. That's in Samuel 21:20. Now, the medical experts are trying to prove a point here. Goliath's family tree is suggestive of a hereditary abnormality. Abnormality? Well, they misspelled it, okay? They said that an autosomal dominant pituitary gland or gene. Now, what they're talking about here is that Goliath's family tree all had these different problems. And according to the names that they had, then they give this list. And then it says, now listen to this. Goliath was killed by David. David threw a stone at his forehead. That's in Samuel 17:49. So this gives further evidence, according to this report, that he suffered from a pituitary gland dysfunction. This pituitary tumor was pressing on his optic chiasm, and consequent visual disturbance due to pressure on his optic nerve. This would have made it difficult for him to see the stone in his lateral vision. Pituitary giants look impressive in terms of their stature, but may not have speed or agility to match their perceived strength. David, having agility, particularly having declined the heavy set of armor that was offered to him, and being skilled at slingshots, might have found a way around the fearsome-looking giant by just firing his slingshot from the side of the battlefield. The fact that Goliath may have had this tumor was recognized by Vladimir Berginer in a paper in the year 2000. In his description of the condition, he notes a painting of David and Goliath by Puget in the 18th century, that's the 1700s, noting the appearance of this, I can't even pronounce it, acromegaly in the severed head of Goliath. And he makes the point that the painting was done 100 years before it was originally described. This condition was originally described in 1886. So he said this helpful comments that Goliath was killed by David, not by the impact of the stone, but that did make him fall down. But he was killed, according to the Bible, by David cutting off his head. And that said that when he fell to the ground, he possibly had a brain concussion, but even that wouldn't have killed him. So the giant that they're talking about here had a growth hormone secreting pituitary edema, and that's present before the epiphyseal fusion. Keep in mind, this is a medical report. Pituitary edemas can be present in a number of genetic conditions, such as a multiple endocrine neoplasia type 1. Who cares about any of this anyway? If you want to look it up, do so on your own time, right? Anyway, so it's saying that that patients now, we're talking about today, patients with AIP mutations have an earlier mean age at diagnosis than AIP mutation negative patients. I don't know what that means either. It says the age of Goliath is not clear, but early onset of the pituitary tumors is typical of a hereditary giantism and limitation of lateral vision. All right, Goliath himself had a shield bearer preceding him. And that's interesting. As I'm reading this, I remember that's what the Bible says. There was a shield bearer walking in front of Goliath, and it says possibly to indicate to Goliath the direction of the approaching foe. Oh, this condition has not been described in association with FIPA. The AIP gene lies on chromosome, and they give you a lot of really big words here. I'm going to skip over that. It said that this syndrome is characterized by a rod cone dystrophy, truncal obesity, cognitive impairment, and protaxial polydactyly. I hope I pronounced that something all right. Anyway, so what they showed in the pictures that I saw, I don't know if I can bring that up or not. Maybe I shouldn't even try, but I think I will give it a shot, because this is really an amazing thing. Let me see if I can do that with yeah, here we go. Oh, no. Let me see. Giant condition medical. I'm not sure that this is even going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot and then see what we get.
Take your time.
All right. Well, I think I'll have to start a fresh search because I just realized I was on the wrong page. Google, and what we need to do is search for Goliath medical condition. Let's see what we can come up with. I misspelled it, but Google will correct you to a point. Did he have a disease? Okay, and oh my gosh, here is the very thing that I found. Yes, this is it right here. Let me see if it shows you the aspects of this. There was something I clicked on in here, and it took me to the exact let me see if I can put it like this, see what will come up. I'm going to put this on images because if you can see the aspect of the condition, medical 6 fingers. Let's see what, yeah, here we go. Now what I want to do is put this up so you guys can see it. I appreciate everybody being very patient with me on this because this really is worth the wait. Okay, I've got it here and I'm going to feature it for you. Now, I don't know how well you can see this or not, but let me start at the top of the page and let you have a look. This is real pictures of real people. They really had 6 fingers and they had 6 toes. Now this person had, let me see if I can show this to you. I don't know why it's, oh my God. Huh. It's not working right. There it goes. Now you can see. That's look at the guy's hand and look at the x-ray right next to it. And then, why is it taking so long for this to work? All right, I don't know how it got this. There's my mistake. I'm entitled to make one mistake every night, and I usually go over my limit right away. Let's see. All right, then here you can see 6 toes, and this particular person had 8 fingers on one hand on the top left. But look at these conditions that these people had. 6 toes, 6 fingers. Now, when I was going to school in the junior high, or what they call middle school now, there was a girl that she had her middle fingers stuck together like this, and she looked like she had some kind of little growth on the hand, and she was tall. But she wasn't a giant. And what they're saying now is that these people could easily be descendants of giants. Let me see what we can also find. I want to put this giants. Okay, see if I can bring it up. Let's take a real close look. See this x-ray? This is not fake. Now here's another one. This is kind of weird, all right? And take a look at these. These are all x-rays of people. Now this one on the top left, he has 2 thumbs growing together. Now this says the mark of giants is 6 fingers and toes in the ancient world. And another thing it said was that the giants had red hair, the red-haired giants. And when I was born, I had red hair, but that doesn't make me a giant.
That's my mistake. I'm entitled to make one mistake every time.
Okay, please turn that down in the background because we can't have repetition going on like that, please. Thank you. Okay, so I think you guys get the idea that we're not talking about ordinary people. However, there are people that are alive today and they really do have a syndrome going on. Let me see. Here we go. This little boy right here. Let me see if I can pull it down so that you can see it better. Yeah. This little boy right here has 6 fingers. Now, this little girl has 2 thumbs and 6 fingers. She didn't want to show her face.
Are they giant people?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that if I can find it. Here is one, and that this is a really big guy for his people. And here's another one. This is Apeka, I can't pronounce these words. These guys are very big. They're very big people. Okay. I wanted to find the same pictures that I saw today. And if you see these, then it will be clear to you what they're talking about. This is just something that was cut out of wood. Don't pay attention to that. But anyway, there were people that they showed pictures that they had looked like something across their forehead, like a tumor or something sticking out, and they had bulky muscles, but it didn't look like they were strong. It looked like they were probably deformed. A very serious, and they were big. A child of only 3 years old is standing up about this high. But normally they don't live to be full grown. And if they do, they have a big, big problem with their height and so on. And I can show you one by, I'm just going to type in biggest man in the world. There you go. That is showing the shortest man on record and the tallest man on record, and that was taken in London. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have put it up here. Now you can see it better. Let me put it out there. Yeah, now. Here's another picture. And another one. Now watch this. Watch. Keep watching. But you notice he has a stick. Almost all of the big, tall people needed some kind of help to get around. Now this man right here, he's a throwback. They call him a throwback. To what? And now watch this. This was probably in the 1930s, 1920s or 30s, because that car in the background, all right? And here's more pictures. And these girls are the height of that car. And that car is probably about 5 foot tall and maybe a little over 5 foot. So he is a good 4 foot taller than the car. You imagine this? So this is a very tall person. And let me see if we can put that up a little bit higher. Here's another one. And that's in England because you can see in the background the bridge. And here you can see the clock, the Big Ben. But notice his shape of his head. And notice this person too. He's from Iran. It's an Iranian powerlifter. Might be the biggest man in the world, but if you look, their bodies don't look exactly right. Of course, he was a bodybuilder, but here is another person. He weighed 93 stone, and I don't know what that means, after shedding 500 pounds of obesity. And that's not really our subject, but yeah. Let me see if I can find one of the ones that... I think it's time for us to take a break. Is that right, sister?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, we got to take a break right now, and then we'll come back. I'll try to have everything together whenever we get back. Okay, so everybody stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Muslimin. We are back, and we've been talking about giants. I want to show you a couple pictures before I go to the Quran, and let's take a look right now. They're saying that this man has big muscles, and I won't argue that point, but I want you to look real close at those muscles. What do you see that's odd about them? Okay, let's put up another one for you to look at. What are you starting to think about what you're seeing here? Okay, let's look at it with no red t-shirt on, just yeah. All of a sudden you start realizing that, look at his shoulders, and then there's something wrong, really, really wrong with a body that's built like that. Because these biceps are not really a cartoon. This is something real. Now, sister, you've had a chance to look at that, right?
Yes.
Ordinarily, somebody that's really big or powerful, they will look like, well, here you go. Yeah. You can see this guy right here. He looks very powerful. And you can see a picture of that's not the Jolly Green Giant over there. That's
The Hulk.
The Hulk, right? And this is another picture of the Hulk. And, but when somebody looks like this, there is something, look at that. He looks like a giant, doesn't he? But look at his build, and look at his legs, his arms. There is definitely, he's a strong person, and I don't take anything away from him for that. But there is obviously something going on there, something wrong. And when we have a chance to see giants, let me see. Let's see what we get. All right, now you can start to see, this is what I'm talking about. This face is a breakdown of what I've been talking about. I've seen this before up close. He's very big, but look at the shape of his face. And that's what they were describing in these, the Bible was talking about people having these problems. And it's not just that they're tall, but they also have some medical issues. All right, now let's come back to our topic. Is it possible that there are other people? Forget about the giants, because these are still humans. But at the time of Adam, people were tall, because our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that. Now, if you just heard what he said and you're not familiar with any of this, you would just say, oh, I don't accept that. All right? But he told us that Adam was 60 cubits tall. Now, 60 cubits, if you want to break that down to 30 inches per cubit, you're looking at about 120 feet. Now, is that possible? Well, look at this man. He's almost hitting his head. He's 7 foot 8.3 inches tall. And that's today. And people have been getting shorter and shorter and shorter ever since Adam. And that was also told by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, they lived a very long time. This is another point. They used to live a very long time, and then, as the Prophet said, that now the average age will be about 65. This is an average. I'm way over the average, but there are a lot of people that die in their 30s and 40s and so on. But anyway, so the average height today is under 6 foot. The average height today is under 6 foot. But when my father was born, the average height was just over 6 feet. Yeah, my father was a little bit over 6 foot. His older brother, was way over 6 foot. And my cousin was over 6 foot. And on both sides of my dad and my mom, they were all over 6 feet. Okay, but you don't see that as much anymore. But keep in mind, these are averages. Now, again, this is to talk about the human beings. But once you have established that what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is saying, he said it real clear that no doubt, he said in paradise, in Jannah, you will be as tall as your father Adam, which is, and then he's telling us, these 60 cubits. By the way, what about the size of the people in the hellfire? Sister, I want you to comment about something now. How big do you think those people are going to be? Are they going to be as big as us or no?
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that one.
Well, take a guess. They're going to be smaller or taller?
I would guess that they would be smaller.
That's what I would have guessed. Until I heard from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, obviously indirectly, I'm not that old, but anyway, he said that in the hellfire, the people, the denizens of the hellfire, the people that live there in the hellfire, their teeth, this tooth right here, the back teeth, like the wisdom teeth or the molars, will be as big as Mount Uhud. In other words, a mountain range in your mouth. That's big, right?
That is quite big.
Yeah. How big? Okay, if you have a mountain of teeth in your mouth on both sides, and the cavity in between these mountains is like a huge valley. All right? This is unbelievable. But why? Can you figure out why?
I don't know. More to punish?
You got it. Very good. Very good. Because the punishment of those people, Allah will burn their skin off. And then He will regrow it with fresh skin, and then it will be burned off, and it will keep doing this forever. Their skin will literally burn off their body, and then Allah will replace it. And then it will burn off again. Because that's how hot the hellfire really is. It's a miserable condition. So this is one of the reasons why we encourage people to learn about the hellfire. It's not a joke. It is not something that you can pass off and go, because there are too many evidences. Now, the fact that we're talking about these giants, these were human beings, sons of Adam. And even for the about 3,000 years ago to 2,000 years back, even at the time of Muhammad, people were really going down in size. So at the time of Caesar and some of the others, they were shorter. But that's why they built those great big buildings. So if anybody came, like a giant or a big person, a big bunch of people were coming toward them, they would see these really big gates and the really big buildings, and they would be afraid and say, oh, those guys are bigger than us, and let's turn around and go away. And that was the psychology behind building those giant buildings at that time, like the pyramids and so on. The whole thing was because they're used to really big people, especially in Africa. And when those people would come forward to fight, true that they were really couldn't see really good, and they had brain tumors and different things wrong with them, but they were, because this was the remnants of that species of human beings. So Allah says that He created other people before us, destroyed them and replaced them, and so on. So we know that. Alhamdulillah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what to say.
Yarhamakumullah.
Hamakullah.
Yarhamakullah. Arhamakullah.
Yarhamakullah.
Close enough. The last word is Allah. Yarhamakumullah.
Yarhamakullah.
No. Yarhamakumullah. Kumma Allah.
Yarhamakumallah.
Close enough. Alhamdulillah. But then the response, I got to give you another response. Wayedikum. Anyway, that's enough. I didn't sneeze that many times, so we'll keep moving. Now, what does the Bible tell us about other people? Well, it does refer to other people in the Bible. Do you know, sister, you didn't really study the Bible that much, but have you ever heard anything about other people on the planet?
The only one that I know of is the Nephilim.
Okay, well, that's in the Bible. Nephilim. Let me see what we can find with that. Actually, it says that they were found in. Now, I'm going to put this up so everybody can see it. This. Okay. Yeah, here we go. It says the tomb of the Nephilim giants has been found, and this was in Utah in the United States of America. Let's take a look. These are people by the bones, and this is architect Frank Cunha III. And here's another picture. And this is another picture. These are some of the pictures that I found on the internet. Now, how accurate are they? Is there a possibility of any forgery here? I think so, especially this particular one. You could get a guy standing and then put him in front of, with Adobe Photoshop, you could do that, all right? So that's the downside of the internet, unless you really study and research it and find out that it's from actual people who are trustworthy, okay? These bones here are supposed to be from the Nephilim. They were sent to the Smithsonian. It says something about that. Here's one. This is National Geographic talking about very big people. But again, these are people. And our question now, it turns to the subject we started with. Are there other life forms out there? Are there? And we'll start with what the Bible is telling us, but that it indicates that these are all people. But the Bible does tell us about angels. So, do Muslims believe in angels? Well, actually, they're called malaika. The word in Arabic is malaika. And this word is found in the Quran a number of times. And it is saying that they are real and that we must believe in angels, although we don't see them. We must believe in the angels as a requirement of our Aqidah or belief system. So we must believe in Allah, wa malaikatihi, and right after Allah is to believe in the angels, wa kutubihi, and his books, the scrolls and writings and books that he has sent down since the time of began. All right? So we do believe in them, although it is very difficult to physically prove exactly what they said, except for the Quran. Except for the Quran. Because today, millions of people around the world have memorized the entire Quran. Many of them do not know Arabic or English, but they do know how to recite the Quran. Maybe they don't know all the meanings of it, but they know exactly how it's supposed to sound. And these are millions upon millions. The last count was over 60 million. And some people have told me over 100 million. But even 1 million is a lot. That's a proof right there. Because if there's no difference, and we have a lot of differences between Sufis and Sunnis and Shiite and all the different groups. There are many, many, many groups. And they have different opinions about a lot of stuff. But all of them agree that the Quran is in the Arabic language, and it starts with Ba and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and it ends with Sin in Minal Jannati wan Nas. So that is a strong proof. When you have 1/4 of the world's population all believing in exactly something, isn't that a proof? And if you said, well, no, I need more proof, show me anything that has more proof than that. Show me anything that has more than 1/4 of the world's population attesting to that, the fact. Okay? So, anyway, we'll go forward now. The Quran is telling us you have to believe in Allah, and you have to believe also in these malaika. So, they're a separate life form. We can't see them, and they are much bigger than us. But they can change their shape according to what Allah wills them to look like and what Allah wills them to do. They have a lot of features like us. They have arms, legs, but they also have wings, and we don't have wings, all right? And we have something they don't have. We have choice. Whenever Allah commands them to do something, they have no choice. They must do it. And they're just happy to do whatever they're told to do because they are created that way, all right? But we have always been given a choice. You can choose to believe or not believe. And that's the biggest choice of all. Believe or don't believe, okay? So let's move forward, though. We believe in Allah. We believe in the angels. What about something else? Is there anybody else out there that has the free choice like we do, but they're in another dimension? Sister, what do you think?
The jinn.
Yeah? Say it again.
The jinn.
And by the way, that's not the kind of alcohol we're talking about. This is Jinn, jinn, and our word genie comes from the Arabic word jinni. Jinni is from the jinn. Yeah. So now, is a jinn big? Some of the jinn are short, small, you know, and some of them are like the Ifrit. They're huge, so big. As a matter of fact, Suleiman, the Prophet Solomon, he had a command over these jinn, and he could get them to do stuff. And they were afraid of him. Now, according to some people, they tell me that Suleiman was very big. I don't know. But I do know that he had a command over them. I don't know if he could see them, but they could sure see him. And that I guess was enough for them. Now, as far as the jinn go, we don't find them in bottles. I don't know where that story came from. Maybe 1001 Nights or something like that. But the thing about them granting wishes or so on, they really tried to sell that as though they could do that. But in fact, they don't have any more power to do something like that than we do. In fact, there is no power outside of the power of Allah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But are there others beside the angels, beside the jinn? Are there others? Well, the Quran does not specifically say there are, but it also doesn't say specifically that there are not. So that's open. That's an open subject. But my take on it is this, very simple. If Allah didn't tell us about it, then we don't need to know about it. So if they exist or don't exist, what difference does it make? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sister, before we wrap
That
up.
sounds like a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Phone is ringing.
Well,
We
I
have a
was
phone
just going
call.
to say
We
that.
have a phone
So
call.
let's
It's
tell
exciting.
everybody
Oh, answer.
what they can do right now is to stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Yusuf Estes. And I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners. And you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.